Now, under the current rules here in France, as you just heard then, single women and also lesbian couples are barred from access to fertility treatment. So some of these women choose to go to countries like Belgium, Spain and Denmark to get pregnant, but others simply don't have the finances to do so. Instead, they see no other option than to try to acquire sperm on the black market online. The market is entirely unregulated, leaving women exposed to a number of health and also legal risks. Louise Nordstrom, a journalist at France 24's Internet desk, spent several weeks investigating this black market and is here with us today to tell us more. Welcome to the set. Louise, can you tell us a little bit about how this black market works exactly?
Right, so there are several platforms out there. There are websites, there are Facebook groups, there are even smartphone applications. And they work a little bit like dating sites. They match women with a potential donor. And they're super easy to both access and sign up to. All you need to do is put your name in, your age, a photo if you like, and then give a description of what you're looking for. And this is actually how Julie, a Parisian woman we met, found her sperm donor. So why don't we have a look and see what she says?
On s'est rencontrés, je crois, 2 semaines après.
We met 2 weeks later in a coffee shop. We talked a little bit to get to know each other. Then 2 weeks later, I was ovulating, so it all happened really quickly. He also lives in Paris, so that meant that as soon as I knew I was ovulating, it was practical for me.
Il habitait également dans la région parisienne. Ce qui fait que,
I just sent him a text message, and the same evening he came to our house. He did what he needed to do in the bathroom, then he brought it to me in the bedroom.
Il avait à faire lui dans la salle de bain, et puis ensuite il venait me voir dans la chambre.
Now, we should say that today Julie actually has a 7-year-old son, but the way in which she conceived him via artificial home insemination is actually illegal in France and can be punishable with up to 2 years in prison. There's also a hefty fine. But aside from the legal risks, there are also a lot of health risks that women undergo if they choose to take this path.
Yeah, not to mention STDs, because if the donor has a disease like the HIV virus or hepatitis and he's giving you his sperm, he can obviously transmit those diseases too. And what a lot of these donors do, they do offer to provide up-to-date test results, but there's no guarantee for the women to know if these documents are authentic or how up-to-date they actually are. And some STDs can't be detected until after several weeks. So, there's a huge risk there.
And what's in it for these men who do offer up their sperm to the highest bidder, if you will, on the internet? What's in it for them?
Right. So we spoke to an anonymous donor who's also a moderator on a Facebook group. And he said there are 3 types of donors that you typically see on these sites. And the first group, they just want to help out. They're just nice people who want to help women have children. And then you have a second group, they want to make money. And they can charge anything from 50 euros to up to 1,000 euros for their donation. And then you have a third group who actually just want sex. And the latter group is actually quite common because I signed up to a number of these platforms or these sites, and pretty much all of the men I was in contact with told me that they preferred natural insemination, which means sexual intercourse, to artificial insemination.
And is it true that increases the likelihood of someone getting pregnant?
Well, that's what they claim. So we checked it, and it is actually some truth to this. The National Sperm Bank, SECOS, they say that you have a 25% chance of conceiving via sex, and just 10% if you do an artificial insemination at home.
So what you're seeing is there could be more demand and fewer donors eventually. How on earth are they trying to recruit more donors?
Right, so the experts and the doctors, they all agree that government needs to stage huge public awareness campaigns to make people aware of this problem. A little bit like blood donations. It needs to become as common for people to go and donate their sperm to make sure that there's not a shortage of sperm and that the waiting lists don't get longer.
And what are the arguments in favour of paying sperm donators for their sperm?
Well, this has been very successful in countries like Spain and Denmark. In Denmark, for example, a sperm donor can earn up to €506 a month. So they do have a lot of donors. But in France, we're very attached to the principle of a donation being free. So even though it might sound like a good idea, I don't think it's something we'll see in the short term.
And is this something that women in France are attracted by? What sort of numbers are we talking about? Women prepared to go and look on the black market for potential fathers to their children?
All right, so this is impossible to say because it's such a shadow number. We don't actually know how many they are. What we were able to see was the amount of donors that were out there. Like I was on a website and there were 800 active donors, and that was just on one French website. But we also spoke to a gay and lesbian association for parents. And he said at least 5% of the members have gone online to find a donor.
And what about any possible social stigma that surrounds this? Is it frowned upon? Would someone be happy to reveal among friends and families that this is the approach that they'd taken to try to conceive?
I think it's become more common. I mean, there's no secret that this market exists. It's just that a lot of people don't talk about it. So I think it's becoming more and more common, but it probably does raise some eyebrows too.
And is it time, do you think, for the French government to really start regulating this market?
Definitely. I mean, it does exist. It's out there. These women, they have to be acknowledged that they exist and that this is a resort for them.
Louise Nordstrom, journalist at France 24's Internet Desk, thank you very much for coming on to speak to us about your investigation. And you can, of course, catch the full investigation on our website, france24.com. Please do check it out. That's all we have time for right now.